What's up, guys? It's Bias Sports here with another bias take. All right, let's get right into it. Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott. There's rumors going around. Saying Dak Prescott will be traded. Dak Prescott will be traded. He wants a new contract, and instead of giving him a new contract, the Dallas Cowboys are going to trade Dak Prescott. This is what the rumor is. This is what a former NFL player said, and we will see what happens. But the rumor right now is that Dak Prescott is going to get traded. Could be a real blessing for the Cowboys because that cap number is crazy and that contract is crazy. Do not give Dak any more years. Do not give Dak any more money. Jerry, you got to stop loving your guys so much. It's hurting the team. At this point, Dak now he's an injured quarterback, and they saying he's walking around Mexico with a boot on, and he doesn't win playoff games. You got to let him go. You got to cut the tide, and you got to trade him. You can bring in a veteran quarterback. A perfect guy, I think, would be like bringing a Jameis Winston, someone like that. Hey, they're going to throw a lot of interceptions and probably turnovers, but so did Dak. But he'll throw for more yards. He'll throw for more touchdowns, especially with all those weapons. We've seen him do it before in Tampa, where he led the league in interceptions and in touchdowns. So I believe he could do it for a much cheaper price than Dak, and you could build a better team around him this year or next year, and you can draft someone in this upcoming draft to be his replacement, and he can be like a bridge guy. But what are we doing with Dak Prescott? How many years have we seen this experiment now? And then they brought back Zeke Elliott. What a joke. That Jerry Jones is the most loyal guy to the players that are not that good. I mean, Zeke was an amazing all-pro for him at one point, but now he is not good anymore. He is way past his prime. What is that going to do for the team? And then you lost Tony Pollard. It just doesn't make any sense. So the only logical answer for the Dallas Cowboys is to trade Dak Prescott. When you trade Dak Prescott, that gets your cap down. That kind of gets you a little reset. You don't have as much pressure. And, to me, you could bring in another quarterback. There's a lot of quarterbacks around the league that you can bring in that can play at Dak's level. Let's look at an example from last year. Deshaun Watson got all that money. He's so good. He's so amazing. We see he's an average quarterback, a little bit above average. He's not the same old Deshaun Watson before his controversy. Who stepped in for him? Joe Flacco. Did you see how Joe Flacco performed? He led his team to the playoffs. He almost got a playoff win. Like, he performed really well. Why can't they could even use a guy like that? And I truly believe that they'll trade him because I feel like they haven't made any big roster moves yet this offseason. And Jerry likes to make at least one splash to try to make some noise. There's not a lot of headlines coming out. That's why I think they put this headline out. The Dallas Cowboys always need headlines. They always need drama. Jerry always needs his ego stroked. He really reminds me a lot of Deion Sanders, and the way they run things is more for clicks than wins. And they're very similar in that they're very good financially, business-wise, but for on the field, it's not your best thing. And to me, Dak's not even that marketable of a quarterback. Like, yeah, he's got his commercials and all that, and he's a nice guy, but he doesn't have as big of a personality as you would think, There's some other quarterbacks, some other players around the league that have a big, big personality. And if they played on the Dallas Cowboys, they would really blow up. They would really be a star. They'd really be world-renowned, Dak's just kind of like your average guy, and that's what he is at quarterback, just your average quarterback. Used to, I would say he was top 15, but now I just can't even see. Now I can't see him as anything more than a lower 15 quarterback. How he doesn't win, he throws interceptions, he's not that good, and he's living on his past reputation. But the weird thing to me is that this is Jerry Jones' only way out. Let's see what he does. Let's see if he's able to finally cut loose one of these guys and let them go. You see, he brought back Zeke, so clearly he doesn't like letting his star guys go. He doesn't like dealing with that. But to me, you could find a more marketable quarterback, like my example with Jameis Winston. He's a very marketable guy, very uh, guy that likes the media and he likes the spotlight. He's good with talking. Yeah, he can be controversial, but that's media attention. That gives you clicks, and that's what Jerry likes. That's how Jerry is. He's a lot like Jerry. And so I think that could work because why keep Dak Prescott? He's not very marketable. And now you have to worry about his health. With the line, they're rebuilding the line. A couple guys retired. A couple guys, went to new teams. They always draft well, alignment, so I don't think that that'll be that much of a problem, but it won't be the legendary lines of the past. And what did you give him now to help him this offseason? You gave him Zeke back, so he'll have no running game, and he can't run anymore because he's slowed down a lot after the injuries, and he doesn't have the same burst. So you're only going to rely on him passing the ball every down almost, because you have no running game. You didn't bring in any good running backs. And then you still have the same receiving core basically as before. You didn't make any upgrades, and we all could see you clearly needed a number 2 guy because Brandon Cook's getting old. Michael Gallup, he's not it. He's an injury guy. And you didn't bring anyone in. So it's like Dak's in an almost impossible situation to try to win, because how can they win and be better when they got worse? They lost players. They lost good guys on their team, and they lost Dan Quinn, the defensive mind that kept them in a lot of games. What do you do at that point if you're Dak Prescott? You should welcome the trade. You should say, hey, these guys are already rumoring. I'm hearing murmurs and rumors about trade me. Come out and say, yes, I want to be traded. You never know where you'll go. All the really bad teams already have a quarterback. So you could go to a middle-of-the-pack team like a Vikings, and I feel like you would be Dak Prescott would be in a better situation with the Minnesota Vikings than he would be with the Dallas Cowboys. Why? Because he's a fresh start. It's not as much pressure. One, he has a better receiving core, and he's definitely got better running backs. And I just feel like that division's definitely easier. And so he would do much better there, and he could get away from Jerry, and he could get away from Mike McCarthy. To me, those 2 guys are like a circus. He can get away from his best friend, slow old Zeke, because he needs somebody that'll have a running game so that'll complement him in the passing game. But we'll see what Jerry does. Jerry, hopefully, he takes a gamble. He makes the fans happy. He gives us what we want as fans, and see a trade. Bring somebody in. Change it up. This is not work. This is just keep losing. Everyone wants to see the Cowboys win a playoff game. Everyone wants to see the Cowboys in contention. Even if they lose, yeah, everybody likes to watch them lose, but everybody wants to see them there at least. So at least make it through a round or 2 of the playoffs and make it more interesting. We know you won't win the Super Bowl, but at least you can make it more interesting. And as for Dak, you already got paid your money, brother. You got paid so much, and you keep asking for more and more and more and more. When's going to be enough? You don't perform that well in the field. You don't win playoff games, so stop asking for money. It's ridiculous. Take a little less, get traded, go to a good spot, a decent spot, like Minnesota, even like Denver. But I would say, Denver's not a bad spot either. Like you could do things there, and you have a pretty decent receiving core. So it could work out pretty good. And if they're able to get some pieces back for the Cowboys, even better. Or if they're just able to unload that contract, that's really the best thing. Give you some cap space, bring in some there's still some talent out there in the free agent market that you could bring in, and you could make the team a little bit better around whoever the quarterback's going to be that has a lower cap number, so that we can build around him. And we can maybe sign another running back, so we're not worrying about old Zeke coming in fat from Cabo and then running for 1.9 yards per carry and being slow as can be. And then we got Dak back here trying to run away from defenders, and he doesn't have an ankle. So they're set up for disaster. So go ahead, Trade Dak, Jerry. Let him free. Dak, get a fresh start. Get out of there, man. Jerry's not going to change. Mike McCarthy's not going to change. They're too old. They're too set in their ways. You can go and compete for a championship if you play somewhere else. You know you'll never win a championship as a Dallas Cowboy. You don't handle that pressure well, and it just doesn't suit you. You came from Mississippi State. That you're the underdog, and to me that role suits you better. You're like a Baker Mayfield type, the underdog role where you're the little guy and David's got to beat Goliath. That's you. You don't want to be the front runner like the Cowboys, and that's too much pressure. Everybody's coming at you. You would rather be, the team that nobody talks about, and you're the underdog. You're not supposed to be there, and you win that way. But we'll see what happens. The reports are Dak Prescott is going to be traded, or might be traded. I think personally he should request a trade since there are already murmurs and rumors out there that he might be traded. Go ahead and request one and try to get where you want to go. Get to a decent team. Like my preference, Minnesota Vikings. You can get there. You can do it. If you win 2 playoff games there, what? The Cowboys would be so hurt because unless they brought in some really terrific quarterback, they probably won't win any playoff games this year. And if you win a playoff game and they don't, then they're in trouble. You would win. You'd win the trade, Dak. You can go try to be like Tom. Show him it wasn't you. It was the Cowboys. It wasn't you. It was Jerry Jones. It wasn't you. It was all those bad coaches they gave you. Jason Garrett. Now you got a terrible coach too, Mike McCarthy. Like, it doesn't stop. It's a circus in Dallas, and you're ready to stop being in the circus. You don't want to be a ringling bro no more. You want to go to a real team where you can have success, and you don't have to deal with the pressure. You don't have to deal with Jerry Jones twice a week in the media. You can just be you. You can be Dak. And you can score some touchdowns and make the playoffs and get away from the Cowboys. So, to Jerry Jones, trade him. To Dak, accept the trade. Request a trade. All right, this is Bias Sports with another Bias Take. I'm out. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe and comment. Thank you.